If your veins run red, white, and blue, you're in the right place. The angry citizen is here, and trust me, he's as American as they come. The angry citizen doesn't just talk the talk. He lives by the Constitution every single day. He's a fighter, a protector, and he's got your back. In a world where standing up for freedom isn't always easy, he stands tall, unapologetic, unafraid, and unbreakable. We're beyond proud to welcome him to the Tiff and Punisher team, joining our mission to defend what matters most. So buckle up, patriots. You're about to hear from a man who believes that America's best days are still ahead. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning.
We know it's all about the money. We know they lie. We know this is corruption. Does CPS know what they are doing to the children?
I'm, just your average parent trying to do right by my kids. Never thought I'd have to, deal with something like this. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon. The kids' toys were scattered everywhere. Then there was a knock at the door. My heart sank when I saw who it was.
Hello, I'm from Child Protective Services. We've received a report and need to inspect your home.
I didn't know what to do. They wanted to come in, look around, talk to my kids. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was doing something wrong, even though I knew I wasn't. But then, I remembered something I'd read online about knowing your rights. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but unless you have a warrant, I can't let you in." The CPS worker looked surprised. They weren't used to parents knowing their rights. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground. I protected my family's privacy that day. Remember, when CPS knocks, know your rights. It can make all the difference.
We won't stand for corruption. We won't stand for stealing kids. This is the Tiff and the Punisher podcast, now joined by the angry citizen. This is a powerful trio, set out to spread the Constitution. This is a powerful trio, set out to stop the evil CPS.
We won't stand for corruption, and we won't stand for stealing kids. This is the Tiff and the Punisher podcast, now joined by the angry citizen.
Damn it, Dana. My damn mouse got stuck. I'm coming, though. We're coming, folks. We're almost here. I've almost peeled back all the layers. I've almost got all the layers peeled back. There we go. Here we are, my friend.
Here we are. Wow.
I have a wow.
Yeah.
I got like a shining light on me tonight. Look at this thing.
Yeah, it's like a
Do you think
Jesus light from heaven.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
here we are.
That's some
Look at the music's even going with it.
that's some powerful shit. So
Oh, this is a powerful trio, except for it's a duo tonight. 'cause
well, yeah.
Tiff is.
But we, Tiff is here with us in spirit. In spirit. So
Yeah, she's at her NAACP. Well, don't say that, dude. She's not like gone forever. She's just gone for tonight. The NAACP.
all right, I'm sorry.
meeting.
I'm sorry,
Um,
CPS Punisher. I didn't mean to misstate that. You have to be so mean.
That's right. You
and
should be
beat me
sorry.
up.
You should be sorry.
You're,
Hey,
if I'm harsh on you when I'm texting you and calling you all sorts of horrible names, it's with love.
I know, and I'm just as, and I mean the same to you too.
Well, I'm offended.
I'm not. Anyway, what's been going on, brother? This godlight is crazy, isn't it? I feel like I'm like in. I got my
Yeah,
Bible
no,
right
it's
here.
cool.
I should
Just
pull it up.
embrace it. It's what's meant to be.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do?
Oh.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull out my nifty book here.
You're gonna pull out your what? Your nifty book.
My Bible.
My Bible.
Before we bring our guest out.
yours.
Before we bring
My
our guest
Bible's
out,
older
listen.
than your
Here we go. Look it. I'm not looking. I'm gonna pick it. I'm just scanning through the book.
Yep.
Boom. All right.
Okay, so where are you at? I'm gonna get my Bible and I want to compare mine to yours. So where are you at?
I am in Jobs 3:33-31.
Jobs?
Job, J-O-B.
Yeah, Job.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shame. Job.
I don't have any.
I know you have.
Thank you. I know that. I was wanting to see. I was getting ready to. I
Job.
wanted to. Yes,
All
it's
right.
definitely Job.
All right, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
grab
I'm
my
so
Bible.
glad that you. You got
I'm gonna
yours.
grab my Bible.
I'm going Job
I have an
34.
1800s Bible. We're gonna go to Job, right where you got your finger, right there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Job 34.
All right. Okay.
Job 34.
Okay. You go ahead. I'll be right back. Give me like 10 seconds.
All right.
Okay.
So this is
Bible.
what comes in under Job 34.
Go.
Furthermore, Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, O ye wise men, and give ear unto me, ye that have knowledge, for that ear trieth words, as the mouth tasteth the meat. Let us choose to us judgment, let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God had taken away my judgment. Should I lie against my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinketh up scorning like water, which goeth in company with the workers of iniquity, and walketh with wicked men? For he hath said, It profiteth a man nothing that he should delight himself with God. Now, dude, if that doesn't say right there that, wow, that we do have a higher power. And then it goes to say, Therefore, hearken unto me, ye men understanding far it be from God, that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty, that he should commit iniquity. For the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. Wow.
Wow. All right. You see my Bible here, brother?
Wow. I do, buddy. Wow,
Okay.
it's very nice.
Yeah, dude. This is the original Hatfield family Bible.
Like Hatfield and McCoy's?
Hatfield McCoy feud. My stepmother
Wow.
was Nancy Ellen Hatfield, direct
Oh, wow, dude.
descendant of Devil Anse Hatfield. No lie. God is my witness.
Wow.
This is the fucking Bible that she had
Wow,
in her
dude.
possession that was left to me when my father died, okay, with no one else to inherit it. This is the fucking Hatfield family Bible. I shit you
Wow,
not.
man.
Okay, let's go. Job,
Job 34,
here
buddy.
you go, buddy. Job is where in the Bible? I'm so sorry. I'm woefully ignorant of the Bible. Halfway, 3/4, give me anything.
Halfway,
Halfway?
a little past half.
Okay, here we go.
It's right after Chronicles.
Okay,
It's right
here we
after
go.
the Chronicles.
After Chronicles, got it. Oh. Okay, I'm in Psalms. After Psalms? I think so.
Let's see.
Past Psalms. Isaiah. I got Isaiah. Moving
Chronicles.
forward, Daniel.
Kings, Chronicles.
Oh my God, I've got a
Um,
long list of Hatfield family deaths, but let's get past that. Matthew. You said King.
Samuel.
Gospel according
Ruth.
to S. Luke. Acts. May have gone too far.
Too far, buddy.
Okay, Job.
Isaiah comes after. Oh yeah, Psalm. You just missed it. I'm sorry. Psalm's right after.
Okay, let me go back to Psalms. Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans. I think I'm too far.
Where are you at now?
I'm right in the middle, just after the middle, 60%.
I'm going backwards from Jeremiah to Isaiah
Acts, Luke,
to
Mark, Matthew,
Proverbs
Proverbs,
to Psalm. Yeah,
Psalm,
Proverbs, Psalms, Job.
Joel, not Job, Joel, Mark, Luke. This is like a joke. This is like the Keystone Cops of Bible. The Acts,
You got to go backwards, brother.
The
Go
Roman-
backwards.
Mark,
Go
Daniel,
backwards.
Psalms.
Ecclesian.
Psalms. Can we start there?
All right, so you keep going back from Psalms. Keep going backwards.
Well, I'm less than halfway through my Bible, so your original admonition was off.
So it's right after. It's right before Psalms.
Okay. Kings?
Nope. Job.
Job. Well, okay. Is Kings before, after? Chronicles?
Well, Psalm right before Psalms is
Right
Job.
before Psalms.
So Psalm 7, and then you go backwards. Go back towards the front of the book from Psalms.
Psalms go back toward the front. What are we looking for
Should be
again?
Job.
Job. Got it.
Job. You're right. Job 34, buddy.
Job 34. Job 34. Chapter 34. Right?
Yes, sir. Left. We're good. 34 it is.
Furthermore, Elihu answered and said, hear my words, wise men, and give ear unto me, ye that have knowledge. For the ear trieth words, as the month tasteth meat. Let us choose to use judgment. Let us choose to us judgment. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God hath taken away my judgment. 6. Should I lie against my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinketh upon scorning like water, which goeth in company with the workers of iniquity, and walketh with wicked men. For he hath said, it profiteth a man nothing that he should delight himself with God. I like that one. Therefore, hearken
That's it,
unto
man.
me, ye men of understanding. Far be it from God that Ha should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should commit iniquity. For the work of a man
That's great.
shall be rendered unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. This is very long. It would take me a long.
Yeah, that's where I stopped. I stopped there. I realized it's long, but what isn't it great is talking about, hey man, listen to what we have to say. And I know that our guest here has gone away from. It's funny because we never ever have done this before, just with the light thing coming down. It would seem like that. So, but our guest here, Fernando, is he shares a difference in the religious preferences, which is why CPS has come along and taken his children. So I'm going to bring out Fernando right now. Let's talk to this guy that's been raped in every way. This guy has been taken advantage of and taken his kids from him in every way possible that you could possibly do it.
They kidnapped his children.
Kidnapped. Sorry. Fernando, how are you, my friend?
Great, good. Can you hear me?
Oh, very
yes.
Good. Yes, we can hear you loud. Yes, sir. You're here. Welcome. Fernando, yeah, we don't usually do we promote prayer and everything in the front, but we've never have done that before. And that was really an odd moment right there with the light coming down on me. And then that reading was kind of crazy. But nonetheless, that being said, let's talk about all the freedoms that you were denied.
Tell us
you
your
and your
story,
family.
man. We want to hear what's going on with you. What happened to you?
His mouth is moving.
He's got a pulse, which means his microphone is hearing him, but we're not hearing his voice.
What do you got, buddy? You can't
Testing.
There you are. There you are, Fernando.
There you go. Yeah, I've been having difficulties for quite some time.
Yeah,
here.
we all do. We all do. It's okay, but we hear you now. So tell us what's going on with you. Tell us, please.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. Sure. Well, it's a long story, man. There's a private,
we've got time.
Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning and tell us what's going on, man, step by step.
Sure. Yes, I was accused of punching my daughter in the face that allegedly knocked her off the bike. This was
okay. Accused by whom? Who accused you of this?
Samuel. The phone call was an anonymous phone call from a Samuel Huntington School, elementary, out of Norwich, this out of Connecticut. And so they made an anonymous call to DCF stating that my daughter made a claim about father punching daughter in the face that knocked her off. Like, there was no medical attention. I wasn't charged for anything. So, I wasn't buying that story,
Right.
So, so you're saying someone contacted the school and made this claim, or the school itself made the claim that you had done this?
It was a caseworker. She worked at the school at the time, and so
a CPS agent made this claim.
No, the school contacted DHS.
That is correct. The school, social worker, caseworker. They the one that made the anonymous call to CPS,
right,
out of state of Connecticut. I'm not sure.
So again, these mandated reporters. So go on, Fernando.
Can you guys hear me clear?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
you hear you very clearly.
Good. From my end, it looks like it's going in and out. So I wasn't sure.
Oh no, you're good, brother.
No, you're good. We hear you clearly. Everything you said can be heard very clearly. So please continue.
Sure. Good. But the story goes before that anonymous phone call. I know that I was giving notice to, to the Board of Education, to the school, that I was preparing for home education. And so after
Mhm.
receiving, sending out the notices, that's when, I started getting retaliation by the school in reference to,
Mhm.
school attendance, uh, school uniform policy, things of that nature. And so when my children
Right.
were kidnapped, uh, when they came to our door, they came to, with the allegations about, me punching my daughter, but that wasn't the case. So
Mhm.
the children, they were told something different. They were told that they were taken because mom and dad failed to take them to, medical, and we neglected their education. So whatever their story was, I knew that, I wasn't buying their story from the get. I already knew CPS reputation long before my children were taken. Um,
Right.
so I've been exposing myself, DCF, for a long time, going back on MySpace before Facebook came out.
Oh God, Jesus. So yeah, you were way back there,
Yeah,
man.
so so I've been around for quite some time. In regards
Mhm.
to trafficking, especially with DCF, because I had many friends and family that been involved in the system, and so.
Right.
But going back, because and please, if I go off course, bring me back into the main topic, the
Oh yeah,
main
for sure.
question,
Certainly.
so that way I tend to go off sometimes. So please bring me
Mhm.
back. But
Yes, sir.
so on May 9th of 2018, that's when the phone call came from the Samuel Huntington School to the department. So I was accused of DCF. So when first time they came to our door, I was at home, my wife was at home. And so, they came with law enforcement officer, police officers, and so I wouldn't let them in. But before they came knocking on our door, I had a sign, in our door, trespassers, giving, public
Yeah.
notice before trespassing or trespassing,
Mhm.
you know. And
Mhm.
so, but when they were there, so they, came, with that concern. So I knew within my right, I didn't have to talk to these people. I knew within my right, I didn't have to let them in. I didn't need to do anything, basically.
Mhm.
So on this was on May 9th, May 10th, on May 11th, um, I was at work that day. And so I had prepared several documents for to, serve them if they ever came back again. So and in fact they did came back again, and I had my wife serve them with a color of law violation and affidavit of truth to
Good.
Crystalline Davis, who was in attempt to abduct my children before they were
Kidnap.
taken. Yeah, so absolutely. So that
Yeah.
same that,
Don't use the devil's language. Don't let them tell us what words to use. They don't take them.
yeah,
They kidnap them.
they kidnapped them.
Kidnap
Yeah,
every time. That is what they are
Mhm.
fucking doing. They are kidnapping our children. They
Mhm.
thank you.
never take them.
That is correct, and thank you for correcting me on
Yes, use a word, brother. That's your
that. And
most
so,
powerful tool. Words are your allies.
yeah,
Words are our power. The truth is the
absolutely.
sword of God.
So the same day that my wife served the DCF worker with the law enforcement there, she served them. The
Good.
lady, the DCF worker, got pissed off. She slid a note under the door. Blank piece of paper, no headings, no nothing. Just said, if you don't comply, by May 15th, we will have your children removed. And so, I didn't take it that serious at that time. It was a blank piece of paper. I said, I'm not buying this shit. Hell with them.
Good.
So on
Good.
Right.
my birthday, on May 15th, on my birthday, that was the day they were kidnapped. The children were ripped off right from my wife's arm. The youngest one was ripped off from my wife's arm. My wife, she's disabled. She's legally blind. And the second youngest one, after everything was going on, he hid under the bed. And so it was a lot going on. Even DCF, we had our nephew and nieces. They even made the attempts to kidnap them also. But because
Jesus.
yes, that is correct. And so fine. So that they happened. So immediate after they were kidnapped, I traumatized. I couldn't believe, what was unraveling in front of my eyes.
Of course.
We didn't understood why. We wasn't buying the story about punching, my daughter in the face, and we didn't know where that story came from. And so, I immediately, started calling the FBI, made a complaint. They wasn't buying my story. I called the Department of Justice. They wasn't buying my story. So immediately, I already knew what I had to do then. So I basically, put my suit on and were really performing my administrative duty. And so
Well done.
and
Can I interrupt you, please?
Yes.
And tell you that the single most important thing you can do, that every constitutional American do, is to contact your sheriff. And all of you out there are going to tell me how it won't work, it can't work, he's corrupt, blah, blah, blah. We have to enlist that as our very first step. The sheriff is the supreme law enforcement authority in their county. They have authority to arrest anyone, any agent. The sons of bitches that came to your door to kidnap your children could have been arrested by the sheriff. I'm not suggesting that it would have happened. If you made the call, you may very well not have gained lawful remedy. I'm telling you, as an American, all of us need to adopt that as our very first step every time.
it's
Every
very
time.
concerning. It's very concerning that the state of Connecticut doesn't have a sheriff office,
Okay, so no state government has the authority to cancel out or deplete the office of the sheriff. There are many states in our union that have attempted to do this and claim they've done it. Massachusetts is one, New Jersey, Connecticut. They claim that the legislature has the authority to dampen or even eliminate the office of the sheriff. They do fucking not. They don't have the authority. The sheriff is the law enforcement authority elected duly by we, the people of each county, to enforce our God-given and constitutionally protected rights. They cannot take that away from us because we, the people, never delegated them the authority to do it.
That is
all of the people like you that are suffering, having their children kidnapped by agents, are doing so because we, the people, have not enforced that to have our sheriffs lawfully support our rights, because they had no authority to do this. No one has the authority to come to your house and kidnap your child. They will claim they do.
Dana. In the year 2000, the Connecticut General Assembly abolished the county sheriff's office and replaced them with state marshal system.
They don't have the authority.
I'm just telling you what it says.
I know. I know what it says.
That's correct.
They don't have the authority. That's what the devil does. He comes in, he says, I have this authority, I'm doing this, you must submit or you will suffer. They don't have the authority. I am 100% certain of what I'm talking about. So when you are in this situation, like you did the right thing, Fernando, you started speaking out, you used your voice, you reached out to the people that were supposed to help you. But the person you didn't connect with was the sheriff. And that's because the dark overlords have sold us the lie sheriffs don't have authority by their claim, with no authority to back up their claim. They don't have the authority. The sheriffs have the authority. Until we, the people, say otherwise, they still have the authority. Our legislature does not have the authority to abolish the authority of the sheriffs. This is the hill on which I die. Ask Sheriff Mack. Ask Richard Mack.
Yeah, he's absolutely
All right.
right. You know, and the way they did it, you know, to me and my family, you know, was very crude. I mean, they committed murder, you know, but going back to tell, you know, the story because it's interesting, you know. My wife, you know, she's a U.S. citizen. You know, she's disabled. She, you know, relies on the government for extra help for her disability. You know, and so when we took on the case, I told my wife, hey, you know, I want to take this case, you know, different. I want you to go in on the public side and as a U.S. citizen, you know, in full compliance, right? And so, and knowing that she didn't have to, you know, comply with anything, and I knew that within her right, but I
Yes.
wanted to do something different. So I said, here, go in full compliance because I've already seen many families, you know, when you know they fight their case. So, you know, I did all the programs, you know, the whole nine, everything that she was instructed. She did. The only thing that did not do, which she refused to, was putting her autograph or signature on documents. And if she did, it was under coercion, all rights reserved, you know, with the UCC
Yes.
and all that, you know, because she
Yes.
couldn't sign any documents. She was legally blind, you know, and they tried to force her
Right.
plenty of time,
No compliance.
you know.
No compliance whatsoever
Yeah.
for the ADA.
And so and I went in on, you know, on the private side, meaning, hey, you know, we're talking about, you know, promissory notes, bid bond, performance bond, payment bonds, you know, you know, all the GSA forms. I went in, you know, talking about, well, the whole, bro, you name it, you know, with the trust, I had the trust. You know, I went in with Duns and Bradstreet number, you know, LLC, the whole nine, you know, and so here's what's this is the interesting part of me on September 27, and this was removed from the transcript. And there's a reason why the Judge Driscoll that was handling the case on September 27, 2018. And I remember this clearly, and this meant a lot to me. And that day when he stood and took an oath, you know, I had, you know, how you say, I had the feeling, okay, we're gonna have justice. I remember when I was making all my arguments
Of
on
course.
that day, and you know, he stood and you know, he apologized to the court, he apologized to everyone that was there, and he clearly turned around and there was a shelf on his right hand side, and he grabbed the book. It was a big, pretty thick book. He opened it, and quite frankly, he stood and you know took an oath to protect the United States Constitution. And so,
Yes.
but when I got a hold of that transcript, and I recorded it, that by the way, an
Good.
audio recorded.
Good.
So
Well done.
yeah, and so, but looking
Yeah.
back at the transcript, when I got the, you know, received the transcript from them, everything that you know I stated was not in the transcript was removed,
Of
including
course.
took the oath to protect that. You know, it was removed. We didn't see it in the
Yep.
transcript, and the transcript, and it was a long court hearing, and then you know the transcript that we received, very short, few, you know, pages, and
Uh-huh.
so there was a lot of things. But here's what I discovered:
Because the devil lies. The devil lies. Lies are very, very easy, aren't they?
yes,
Fernando, did I tell you I used to tour with the Beatles?
no.
Yeah, totally. I appeared with them many times on stage.
No way.
See how easy it is to lie? It's that easy. I've been to the moon a dozen times. Did I tell you that? Yeah, I
Really?
walked around on the moon. It was great. Had a party there.
Yeah, right.
See how easy it is?
Yeah.
So I take your transcript and I just take out what I don't like and then I present it as the truth.
And yeah, and if it sells,
Yeah.
there's a buyer. You know, because when you walk in,
Mhm.
what people don't know, what's going on behind these closed doors. There's a seller,
Yes.
there's a buyer.
Yes.
So, but and even then, because when you go into their probate court website, they use these forms. So when you click on these forms, express estate and trust, right? So when you click on these forms and you read the instructions, who are supposed to be filling out these forms? And so the question is, our parents, mom, and in these courtroom, do they know about these forms, or is it
No.
behind, or is it the people behind the closed door that know about these forms and are filling them out under our behalf as if they are me? And so I don't know if you guys saw the last video I posted on.
Well, yeah. Do you want me to play the video from, or do you have that cut? Do you want me to play the end of that when they
Yes, can you please play
Yeah,
it?
sure
Yeah.
can, man.
Yeah, do
check
it.
this out, Dana. Wait till you see this. This is pretty cool, man. Kudos
All
to
right.
you, brother, for I'll play the last 2 minutes so everybody can see this. This is freaking wild, man. I've never seen anything like this before. Here it is right here.
Yeah,
This is
they shut
freaking
me
wild.
down immediately.
You shut them down immediately. This is really cool, man. This is really, really cool. Okay, share here. Okay. Let's go to the last 3 minutes here.
Your own life.
Rachel, I do know that you're supposed to help me with like signing myself out of DCF. Are you able to do that now?
So I can't do that, and the judge brings up a good point, and we can talk offline about it as well, but I can't help you sign yourself out because they're your statutory parent. It's not just that you're in DCF care and committed, so it's a little bit more complicated than I had initially stated. And I also can't help you with emancipation because that's New Jersey, because you're physically in New Jersey, so you'd have to contact a New Jersey attorney. So, but I can definitely talk to DCF to make sure there's no other options, but I don't believe there are.
Okay.
It might just be something where you have to wait for a little time to pass, Anaya, and then it's less than a year, and then you're 18.
So once you're 18, Anaya, you don't have to do anything to sign yourself out. You would have to sign if you wanted to stay in, right? So when you turn to be that age, you could ask to stay in the care of DCF if you wish. I know you don't want that, and so I don't think you'll have to take any further steps, but we can talk in more detail with Attorney Levine about it.
Okay. Is there anything else we need today?
Financially compensated.
No, you're on.
Back to my previous thought on the previous meeting, I would still like to understand and where you are about me being financially compensated for the years of me being in DCF care, and for the years I was emotionally and physically abused in that care.
You're going to need to consult with an attorney about that. Because suing the state is there's a lot of hoops to jump through in order to be able to do that. So you're going to have to try consult with an attorney if you want to have a lawsuit against DCF.
Okay.
And I don't handle lawsuits against DCF in this court.
But Your Honor, are you saying, excuse me, Your Honor, this is Fernando, are you saying that you don't deal with estate and trust? Is that correct?
I don't, thank you for using sovereign language. That is not.
That's oxymoron.
What I stated to Anaya is correct.
It's oxymoron. You
All
cannot
right.
be too sovereign and citizen, ma'am. So are you saying that you're acting as an executor decentor at this moment? Just yes or no?
I don't have to answer any of your questions, sir. All right, we can end this hearing. Thank you. Thank you.
So there you have it.
Oh,
And so if you can see
oh,
what I went through from the
the devil
very
hates to be
beginning.
caught lying, doesn't he? He hates that shit.
Yeah.
That was
And this is
amazing,
what
man.
I've
Yes.
been facing from the
Well
very
played,
beginning.
well played, brother. You caught the devil with his pants down, and he had to run and hide like a scared little fucking bitch, didn't he?
Well, there's a reason why, they had reckless disregard with all my 42 documents, where all the affidavits, motions, orders, the
Yep.
whole nine,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
Never
and
filed, none of
why
them.
they ignored all of that, why they left it in silence. There were no rebuttals, no nothing, just complete silence. So what was
Yep.
important? What was in those documents that, why was I treated the way I was treated, including when they put me in jail for Judge Driscoll. That's December 27th, 2018. That's when I went on Facebook Live. I was, at home. It's Christmas Day. I was holding a cell phone device, laying down on my bed, and I was expressing all the wrongdoings I found through the department. And I exposed the judge and DCF worker. And the next day at 3 a.m, I had the feds on my door. Sure enough, I was kidnapped, and then the way I was treated inside,
course.
The correctional facility,
Of
they
course.
they had me segregated. They kept invading,
Yep.
my room,
Yep.
tampering with my paperworks,
Yep.
wetting them, and they just kept
Yeah.
me separate from other people. Like they were literally completely watching me, where they didn't want me, to have access or to talk with other people for
Yep.
whatever
The
reason.
tyrants work for the devil, and
Yeah.
they are going to shut you down and punish you and make you rue the day you spoke out against them. That's their mission in life. So God bless you for enduring that, my friend.
Yeah, well, that's just to show, how we're treated. Even when we act,
Sure.
even when we act in administrative capacity, even when my wife, she, in
Yes.
full compliance, like there is no justice whatsoever. And if you look at the Constitution, I mean, and the Bill of Rights, I mean, the answers is there. That's there for us, and so, I mean, but there's no honor in thieves,
Hmm.
Well said. Everything you said is exactly correct, except I'm gonna take issue with a small thing. And as someone who has deeply born injustice, I understand why you're skeptical of what you just said. You said, the Constitution doesn't matter. It doesn't work. Doesn't help us. And it does, but we have to all enforce it. And that's where we fall down. We, the people, don't enforce it. Your rights are mine, mine are yours. I've told Darren this many times. I have never had a child kidnapped. God help me. Okay, by any agents. Okay, and I don't think it would happen because a lot of reasons. But let's say it did. I would be very angry, and I would want every father in America to help me. I would want
Mhm.
every father in America to be outraged, pissed as fucking hell that my child was kidnapped by agents who have no authority, right?
Mhm.
But like Darren and I were talking about this, how, you maybe think people that have never been involved with CPS maybe think that if, the CPS agents are crawling around you, maybe you've done something bad. Maybe you deserve to have your child taken away from you. And
Mhm.
there's the myth that the CPS people are, kind, friendly, helpful, benevolent, child protectors. They're taking your child away out of this horrible, abusive.
You must be a
They're
bad person, right?
I mean,
foster
every
parents.
for every
Right?
parent that step in court, when we look at all of these people, we see strangers. Who are they? We never met
Yes.
them before. We never seen them before.
Yes.
We never, I don't recall falling under contract with anybody here, so,
Mhm.
and here they are, creating this beautiful narrative and against that character, and misusing it, for their benefit,
Yes.
and it's only you, one body, and that they appoint attorney, the Grim Reaper,
Yeah.
speak for the dead. you know?
Yeah.
And so what
Mhm.
defense do we really have, you know? Here, because,
Yeah.
you know, not for nothing, how many lawyers they try to appoint, you know, and right away when I asked them, sure, here, fill out the FARA Act application for me, you know, and you know, immediately I start asking for, you know, W-9s, and, you know, I start getting details with the IRS Treasury, you know, they want to back off, you know, they want to say, whoa, what is that for? You know, what do you need that? What do you know? You know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's questionable, especially when, you know, now I know that this is all, when I look at my case and what happened to me, I look at everybody else's case as a taxable event. I don't see nothing that was judicial about these family cases. And if I look at mine, what happened to me, I can imagine, I mean, hold on, real quick. Let me share my screen real quick, and I want to read this to you. I got it prepared. I'm going to
All
share
right.
it.
All right. Darren,
this-
are you on this?
And
Yeah,
this
I
is
got
an
it.
instruction right from the Social Security Administrative. Let me see if it'll allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, I gotta pull it up here. Hold on a second.
Darren has to do it. He's barely competent with technology, so be super patient with him.
Yes, and I have to
He's
deal
like
with
an
other
old
people.
man wearing diapers.
Mm. Yeah, your diapers. No, you don't have it up yet there, brother.
I'm not sending you my diapers. Buy your own damn diapers.
Mm-mm. No,
What
sir, I
you
will
get for
not.
getting old.
Yeah, you Social Security collecting fools.
Man, it doesn't
I
let me.
finally got
It's not letting
some
you.
of
It's
the
not letting you.
money
Oh, you know
the
what? Let me
government
take this
stole
down.
from
Let
me.
me take this down for you here. Try that. Now try
I
this.
finally got
There we
some
go.
of the money the government stole from me. I'm receiving Social Security, folks. You can actually get money out of it someday, maybe. Probably
If
not
you
much
live that
longer
long.
though.
If you live that long.
Both that and the government hasn't spent it all, which they're working on. But you know what? We're $27 trillion in debt, America. But don't worry about that. And don't call them. Never call them. Never write them letters. Never do that. It won't matter. It won't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Aaron, are you going to make this happen or not?
Well, I
We have
will
to
when he
get a
puts the
new
screen up there.
producer.
Yeah, I was
There
trying
you
to
go.
pull it up, but it's not letting me. But I'm just gonna go ahead and read the instruction, what it says in back of the Social Security when you receive one. And this is a very key, you know,
Mhm.
because they're telling you, you know, and what it says, your Social Security card, right? It says number shown on your card is yours alone. Do not allow
Mhm.
others to use your number as their own. Record your number in a safe place in the case your card is lost or stolen. Protect both your card and your number to prevent their misuse. You should contact us to update your Social Security number and benefit record if you are entitled. If your name, your U.S. citizen status, or your status as an alien in the U.S. changes, you will need to file an application for a replacement of your Social Security card and provide proof of your identity. And we may request other evidence supporting the change. Show your Social Security card to your employer when you start your job. Make sure your employer uses the same name and number exactly as is shown on your Social Security so we can record your earnings correctly. Here's the important key. Some private organization use Social Security number for record keeping purposes.
Ooh.
Such use is neither required nor prohibited by federal law. The use of your Social Security number by such an organization for its own record is a private matter between you and the organization. Okay, so I'm going to hold there for a second because for what I recall, I don't recall giving anybody of the department, you know, any of the agents, workers, social workers, anybody the Social Security number or, you know, birth certificate and things of that nature. But here's the fact, though, you know, when you look at roll back in the paperwork and you look at the history, there's a bunch of numbers, but those numbers are linked to something. Of course, it's linked to your Social Security. But when they create these cases, when they open these cases, there's a QSIP number that gets created at the same time, you know? And so when you look at the probate court, when you see these forms, you know, when you create the QSIP and when you go into the probate forms, right, these people are filling it out as if they are the beneficiaries to those estate. What estate? We're talking about our children's estate. You know, when we created the, you know, the birth certificate, when we filled it out, we had to stop in Social Security and get a Social Security card for them. You know, and so even when I was incarcerated, you know, what, you know, they gave me the charging papers. It even had the Social Security number. But what's interesting is that the Social Security wasn't in the same format as shown in front of your Social Security. So if you look at it, it has, you know, first 3 digits, and then it has the dash, the 2 digits, and the dash, and the 4 numbers. Well, in these documents, it appears the numbers in full. So when you look at that, when you look what is an auto trace number, you know, you'll discover that, man, these people have been banking all along. You know what I'm saying? And so who's supposed to fill out the 706 and 709 for? You know, including the, you know, the 1099. When you look at these instruction IRS forms, I mean, I have the whole booklet, all the forms, and it gives instruction, you know, what are they for? You know, so what do they know that we don't know? You know? So, I mean, so the people, if you don't know or familiar with estate and trust, you know, or, you know, the background, what is the KV Trust Act of 1666? If you don't know what's you know, Trading with the Enemy Act, or, you know, I mean, millions of family will be robbed just as, you know, we witnessing today. I mean, it's just that bad. Me, on the other hand, I was exposing it black and white, you know, from the get-go. You know, I was wearing the same suit they were wearing, basically, you know, when we were stepping in the court. But why, you know, why they couldn't hear me, you know? I mean.
Hey, hold on one second.
Well,
hold on.
They heard you.
Hold on one second. I want to play this, guys, for everybody out here that is wondering what we're talking about here.
KV Act of 1666. London was enveloped by the Black Plague and the Great Fires. During this chaotic time, Parliament enacted a significant law behind closed doors, known as the Chestwi KV Act of 1666. This act subrogated the rights of men and women, essentially declaring all men and women as dead, lost at sea or beyond the sea. At that time, operating under Admiralty law, the law of the sea, being lost at sea, had significant legal implications. Consequently, the State of London took custody of everyone and their property into a trust. The state became the trustee or husband, holding all titles to the people and property until a living man or woman comes back to reclaim those titles, at which point they can also claim damages. When you see capital letters used in a name, this always refers to a legal entity or fiction, such as a company or corporation, with no exceptions. For example, John Doe or Doe Jane. In New Zealand and Australia, this is commonly referred to as Cest Tuiqui Trust, pronounced Setakai, and in the United States of America or Canada, it's known as straw man. These terms describe the legal entity or fiction created and owned by the government that created it. It's akin to owning a share in the stock market. You may own a share, but it remains just a part of the whole stock. Legally, we are considered to be a fiction, a concept or idea expressed as a name, a symbol. This legal person has no consciousness. It is a juristic person, ens legis, merely a name or word written on a piece of paper. Our only way out is to reclaim your dead entity, the straw man that the Crown created, become the executor, and then collapse the called Chestwi KV Trust and forgive yourself of your debts. Then, you must remove yourself from the Admiralty law that holds you in custody. When London burned, the subrogation of men's and women's rights occurred. The Responsible Act, the CQV Act of 1666, declared all men and women of the UK dead and lost beyond the seas. The state took everybody and everybody's property into trust. The state maintains control until a living man or woman comes back and claims their titles by proving they are alive,
I guess it's
and
three
claims
dozen.
for damages can be made. This is why you always need representation when involved in legal matters, because in the eyes of the law, you're dead. The legal fiction is a construct on paper, an estate in trust. When you receive a bill or summons from court, it is always in capital letters, similar to tombstones in graveyards. These capital letters signify death. They are writing to the dead legal fiction. All this information relates to how the general public are still legally tied through maritime admiralty law. Through this ancient legal construct, we can be easily controlled and duped. Learning about your legal fiction helps you to unlock yourself. Otherwise, you are just an empty vessel floating on the sea of commerce. Parents are tricked into registering the birth of their babies. In about 1837, the Births, Deaths and Marriages Act was formed in the UK, and the post of Registrar General was established. His job was to collect all the data from the churches which held the records of birth, Regis from Queen or Crown. All people are seen to be in custody of the Crown. This allows people to function in commerce and to accept the benefits provided by the state. We have to understand who we are as men and women and how we can relate in the system. A Cestui Quavi Trust, also known later as a Fide Commissary Trust and later again as a Foreign Situs Trust, and also known as a form of secret trust, is a fictional concept being a temporary testamentary trust, first created during the reign of Henry VIII of England through the Cestui Quavi Act of 1540 and updated by Charles II through the Cestui Quavi Act of 1666, wherein an estate may be effected for the benefit of one or more persons presumed lost or abandoned at sea, and therefore presumed dead after 7 years. Additional presumptions by which such a trust may be formed were added in later statutes to include bankrupts, minors, incompetents, mortgages, and private companies. The original purpose and function of a Cestui KV trust was to form a temporary estate for the benefit of another, because some event, state of affairs or condition prevented them from claiming their status as living, competent, and present before a competent authority. Therefore, any claims, history, statutes, or arguments that deviate in terms of the origin and function of a Cestui KV trust as pronounced by these canons is false and automatically null and void. Since 1933, when a child is born in a state estate under inferior Roman law, 3 Cestui Quavi trusts are created upon certain presumptions, specifically designed to deny the child forever any rights of real property, any rights as a free person, and any rights to be known as man and woman rather than a creature or animal, by claiming and possessing their soul or spirit. Since 1933, when a child is born, the executors or administrators of the higher estate knowingly and willingly claim the baby as chattel to the estate. The slave baby contract is then created by honouring the ancient tradition of either having the ink impression of the feet of the baby onto the live birth record, or a drop of its blood, as well as tricking the parents into signing the baby away through the deceitful legal meanings on the live birth record. This live birth record, as a promissory note, is converted into a slave bond, sold to the private reserve bank of the estate, and then conveyed into a second and separate Cestui Quavi trust per child owned by the bank. Upon the promissory note reaching maturity and the bank being unable to seize the slave child, a maritime lien is lawfully issued to salvage the lost property, and itself monetized as currency issued in series against the Cestui KV Trust. The 3 Cestui KV Trusts are the specific denial of rights of real property, personal property, and ecclesiastical property for most men and women, corresponds exactly to the 3 forms of law available to the gala of the Bar Association courts. The first form of law is corporate commercial law, is effective because of the first Cestui Quavi Trust. The second form of law is maritime, and trust law is effective because of the second Chestui v Trust. The third form of law is Talmudic, and Roman cult law is effective because of the third Chestui v Trust of baptism. The birth certificate issued under Roman law represents the modern equivalent to the settlement certificates of the 17th century, and signifies the holder as a pauper and effectively a Roman slave. The birth certificate has no direct relationship to the private secret trusts controlled by the private banking network, nor can it be used to force the administration of a state or nation to divulge the existence of these secret trusts. As the Chestui v trusts are created as private secret trusts on multiple presumptions, including the ongoing bankruptcy of certain national states, they remain the claimed private property of the Roman cult banks, and therefore cannot be directly claimed or used. While the private secret trusts of the private central banks cannot be directly addressed, they are still formed on certain presumptions of law, including claimed ownership of the name, the body, the mind and soul of infants, men and women. Each and every man and woman has the absolute right to rebuke and reject such false presumptions as a holder of their own title. Given the private secret trusts of the private central banks are created on false presumptions, when a man or woman makes clear their live-born record and claim over their own name, body, mind and soul, any such trust based on such false presumptions ceases to have any property.
Well, there you go. That's what it is. So now you all know.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
That was very crucial there for the people, for the viewers to see and have an understanding. I'm glad that you brought that. I have a document here in front of me. I wish I had the opportunity. I would like to take the time to read it out, but this was the very last document that was ever accepted in Willimantic Court before being blocked to the appeals court, before being blocked at the Supreme Court. This final letter, I know for sure that could have had, set my family free, but this is something that they chose to ignore. Will it be okay if I take the time to, read it out loud, because it does describes the Sesta KV Trust Act and beyond that, so, and this is something that most family, don't know their role, or, and when they're in the floor in the court, they don't know where they stand, and so will it be okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, this got great detail, so this is the whole nine, and I'm not afraid to, put it out.
Yeah.
They, fraud alleviates all, man. What they did, is crucial. But here it goes. This is an affidavit of truth. Just know for the record that this affidavit is not intended to threaten, harass, intimidate, offend, conspire, blackmail, cause consternation, alarm, contempt, or distress, or impede any public duties. This affirmation, contrary to this verified statement of the facts, will compromise your stipulation to committing fraud to the courts. And the Sesta v Trust Act, Sesta K v Trust of Fernando Irizarry, Anaya Irizarry, Amayas, and Adeline. All rights reserved. I, Fernando, the family Irizarry, understand this process. That for the record, that I am making a special limited appearance for the beneficiary to this civil, commercial, criminal case, and that's CP 18015579. And then it has others associated with the Sesta KV Trust of Fernando Irizarry, and then I named my heirs. And then it says that appears on the birth certificate with the all caps name, created by the settler, who is my mother, Madeline Irizarry, and I, Fernando of the family Irizarry. When Anaya, Amayas, and Adeline and I was born, a trust called Sesta VK Trust was set up for our benefit, as Anaya, Amayas, and Adeline and I are the beneficiaries, and evidence of this is the birth certificate. Okay, I'm gonna pause there for a second. On September 27th, 2018. That was the day that I handed over to the judge the authenticated birth certificate. And it was authenticated on the state and federal level. Once I handed it over to the judge, this is the part where I was telling you guys earlier, where he pardoned himself in the court, said no disrespect, and this is where he took an oath to protect this, the United States Constitution. So the very same day that I handed the birth certificate, that was the day he took the oath. That was the part that was removed from the transcript of that day. So now going back. So then it says, explaining how this affidavit of truth before appealing in a higher court. I understand that the person who creates the trust are the settlor. The person who holds the property for another benefit is the trustee. The person who is benefited by the trust are the beneficiary, or Sesta KV Trust, which is Anaya, Myers, and Adeline. And I, Fernando Rizari. The Sesta KV Trust Act of 1666 was to subrogate the rights of men and women, meaning all men and women were declared dead, lost at sea, or beyond the sea by the operating in Admiralty law, the law of the sea. I, Fernando the Family Rizari, did not know that the use of the all capital name Fernando Rizari, Anaya, and Amayas, capital letter, always refer to a legal entity, fiction, a company, or corporation, and there is no exception. The Sesta KV Trust Act created is an all capital name who had all my belongings put into that trust. Evidence proves that this act still exists, and this trust still exists today. This is why the office of the clerk administration of Superior Court Juvenile Matters of Waterford and Willimantic appointed an administrator and trustee who is the presiding judge. And then the judge is as Spellman. The clerk also appoints the prosecutor as executor to administer this constructive trust. There goes the case number for the benefit of the beneficiaries. It says the office of the clerk administration of the Sesta K Trust owned by the state, province, and the administrator and the trustee. The executor cannot be or serve both as beneficiary and trustee, because this will be a conflict. Fernando, okay, here it goes. Fernando, page 3, 4, all right, was appointed to be the beneficiary of the Sesta K Trust by Passaic, New Jersey on May 26th of 1977. That's the second date that's on your birth certificate. So when you look at your birth certificate, there's two dates on it. One date, the date you was born, and the date that it was registered. So the date it was registered, that's when this entity became dead on paper, And so, but going back, then it says, in this affidavit of truth, I will describe in detail how the judge and magistrate who is the trustee by the name of John Spellman and John Driscoll, who is administering Anaya and, all the kids' name, a trust account, and how the judge is maybe willing to commit fraud against all laws. I will also describe how the prosecutor or the commissioner, who is the executor, who issued bogus papers and create charges or claims against the Sesta KV Trust of Fernando Rizari. And then it says go back to the next page. It says the clerk, who is the administration, the judge or magistrate who is the administrator and trustee, the prosecutor who is the executor for the same Sesta K Trust Act, led me to believe that evidence proved that the trust in fact do exist, and that I am the beneficiary to this constructive trust. And neither the clerk nor the judge, nor the magistrate, nor Judge John C. Driscoll, the prosecutor, serve both as beneficiary and trustee, because again, this will be a conflict. And then I want to go to the further page, because this is where it gets more deep. Truth, there is no value. The truth is, there is no value in Fernando Rizari, because it was declared dead, lost at sea, or beyond the sea, and is referred as a legal entity fiction. The problem here is that the office of the clerk administration of Waterford and Willimantic continue to charge a claim against the Sesticate Trust. On and for the record, in a matter of law, before appealing, this is fraud because I know it's about the existing trust and not
Mhm.
alleged abuse and neglect claimed by the state and private for-profit organization called DCF. And then it says the alleged property, Fernando Irizarry family, as a living man, flesh, blood. This is the part where they always want to, claim that sovereign
Mhm.
bullcrap,
Mhm.
Geez, this is long, man, but I want to get
Well,
to.
I mean, you could paraphrase. You could paraphrase it too, or whatever you want to, however you want to do this. I mean, if you're fine with continuing, continue on. If you don't, then that's fine too. You could just point out some key parts. I mean, of just, I mean, the point just being is, I mean, the fact that you did this and the courts just denied you your rights, denied all of it, right? Correct?
Right. They did, And here's the fact, of this act, it's been first dead in history, but also the largest trust ever conceived. Is a
Mhm.
claim, it claims the whole planet and everything that's on it, and is conveyed
Mhm.
into a trust. So even
Right.
Pope Boniface, he issued the infamous papal bull back in 1302, which is the first express trust. Even if you could look that up real quick and share that,
Mhm.
Pope Boniface, his when he issued the bull Annum Sactum in 1302. You could pull it up, and then it expressed the very first trust. So with history, yes,
1302.
yes, a little bit more, honey. I'm sorry. Don't interrupt me no more. So
1303.
the same papal bull created the crown of Aragon, known as the crown of Spain. The crown of Spain is, lost the crown to King James in 1604 in England by Pope Paul, after the successful passage of the Union of the Crowns. The crown was lost by England in 1975. So when it was returned to Spain and King Carlos, where it still remains to this very day, So
Mhm.
So even the second crown represented by the second Sesticate Trust Act created that was when I was registered in May 26th of 1977. And that's by the sale of the birth certificate. And it was sold, as a bond to the private central bank of the nation, depriving me of ownership of my own flesh and condemning me and Anaya, Amais and Adeline, um, to servitude as a Roman person or citizen, as a
Mhm.
slave. So the Bar Association and its member has, ever since been responsible for, administering the reaping of the souls of the lost and the damned, including the registration and collecting the, of the
Mhm.
baptismal birth certificate,
Mhm.
representing the souls, and that's collected by the Vatican and it's stored, in their votes. So, the
Mhm.
third crown, is represented by the third Sesticate Trust created when I was, baptized on December 6th, 1988 by St. Nicholas, church.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and that's when my soul, basically was, traded to the church, it was,
Yep.
put in both, So the state of Connecticut had denied there is every family legal and title over our own soul and deprived me from legal standing and will, and I was treated, my family and we were treated as a thing, as a cargo without a soul. And so the bar members, they believe maritime law apply to me, and so when I look at the statutes, codes, policy, and regulation, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not a federal or state employee,
Mhm.
so I'm not in contract with the state. I don't recall. So when you make these arguments here, go again with the sovereign citizen ideology bull crap,
Mhm.
And so, my affidavit explained the truth that since 1933, when I was a child, when a child is born in the state, or estate under the inferior Roman law, that the third sesticate trusts are created upon certain presumptions specifically designed to deny forever the child any rights of real property and rights to be free and right to be known as a man or a woman rather than a creature or an animal by by claiming possession of someone's soul or spirit, you know. So here in that same letter, explains in detail the beneficial entitlement of a child as beneficiary into the first sesticate trust is in the form of a registry number. And I wrote down the state registry number that they'd been using for, since I was 18 years old, and so they've been doing all kinds of things with that same number since I was, 18 and still utilize it. But guess what? It's my turn to use it now. Here we go. It's I can go on and on, man. But what's important is that when I see my case and what I went through, now I look at all those family case, man. We all been shammed. We all been scammed, and it's because it's the truth. Ignorance of the law. There is no excuse. This is something that we were supposed to know, but we never taught any of this. We wasn't taught our role. We wasn't taught about beneficiary, trustee, lender, borrower, leasee, leaser. We wasn't taught any of these things. What were our responsibility once we come at the age of majority. They left us for dead. And so we too busy working 9 to 5, 40, 50, 60 hours, and so we don't have time for family sometimes to educate ourselves, so so listen, man. Even when I was locked up, man, when they had me in Corrigan Correctional Center in Connecticut, and even in Harvard, I wasn't afraid to talk to the guys. A lot of them already knew who I was before I walked in. They saw me in the news, so they recognized me, and so we right away got it in, where I was explaining what the law was and what I was facing. And what's interesting that half of these people that were in there, they were all foster foster how you say these are all victims that been in the foster department, because a lot of them, they weren't afraid to express what happened to them. But here's the thing. I want to talk about what happened 2 years ago when my daughter ran away from
yeah, definitely want to talk about that, because I'm still behooved that please do.
Yeah. So back in June 3rd, my daughter ran away from her appointed foster mom. She was going through abuse. My daughter felt she was a slave, constantly cleaning after everybody. Depriving her privacy. They would take the door down off her. So she was going through a whole lot. And on June 3rd, I remember it was the middle of the night where, we heard strange, calling from outside, and it was our daughter. We didn't know it was our daughter until I went downstairs, to verify who's this person calling, and it was my daughter. So we didn't know she had run away. She came and she was scared, so I immediately, took action and trying to protect her. Of course, my heart is up my ass because now, who's going to be knocking on my door next,
Right.
And so, but here's the thing. That's what draw my attention, upon her arrival. This is where I can clearly see how you create a monster. What I mean by that, a criminal, a prostitution, a drug dealer, or So here's the thing. My daughter, when she came back very different. We didn't recognize her attitude, her action, her demeanor, the way she was dressed, very provocative. Enough that to draw any man's attention. And just the lack of disrespect, the whole 9 yards, man. Very rebellious, a lot of resentment, a lot of hate, a lot of pain, And so, I mean, I had a lot to deal with. You have no idea what I had in my hands, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the nightmares where she had, where she, you know, she couldn't sleep until, you know, well, she had to go to sleep first, you know, and the only way that she'll go to sleep if somebody was awake watching her. You
Right.
know, I didn't know the reason why, and this was just recent, and this was because my wife confessed it to me, where she was violated, you know, at her foster home. You know,
Hmm.
she was afraid to share that with me because you know she know Papa, you know, I don't play no
Hmm.
games. You know, and so she was in fear, you know, of expressing it to me. But when it came to light, you know, now I come to understand. Okay, now I see what's
Hmm.
going on. You know, but even then, when she came, you know, I tried to get her in school. Uh, I I was blocked from you know trying to register her. I couldn't get her to register unless if I had a parental custodial rights.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, you know, I started homeschooling her, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at home. So I paid for the programs. The program, you know, is a little bit expensive, you know, but I got
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of books for her. But at the same time, I wanted her to learn what was, you know, and discover too, you know, about the case
Mm-hmm.
because she was more eager to wanting to know why, you know, because she witnessed herself what happened yesterday, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what the way the judge did me, you know, at the very end.
Right.
So she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Wow, Dad, now I see what you're telling me. Now I can see
Mm-hmm.
what you went through," you know, and just her reminding me, you know, so that's just you know
That's
blow the
huge.
whole thing, the whole lid
Mm-hmm.
over, you know, that yo, we've been shammed, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so
Yeah. Yes, we have.
and so but who's you know and another thing too, you know, I look at these agencies too because you know we have to do something about it. I mean, you know, when I mention whenever I talk about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Uniform Commercial Code, the Uniform Trust Code, all these things they labeled as sovereign citizen bullshit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing though, how is these agencies were created? You know, I am one of the people, and I think the only way that we can come together honestly is we have to basically we the people, you know, have to create our own. I mean, if we have access to you know, creating LLCs and nonprofit and EINs and Dun
Mm-hmm.
and Bradstreet numbers and all this, you know, I think we can create something here, you know, against DCF because what they're doing and the things that we're discovering that's totally against the law,
Mm-hmm.
unconstitutional. I mean, the things that they're doing. I mean, this is something that shit, man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I forgive them. You know, I learned a lot from them, but it's the children that's suffering, and we need justice. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, I've been premeditating for a lot of years now. And I set up a plan, you know, what I can do. But the hardest part is just, you know, reaching out to the right people. You know,
That's it.
I have trust issues, you know, especially with the things that I disclose, because there's a lot that I
Mm-hmm.
haven't disclosed. I know a whole lot. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just careful, you know, because you know, back in December they threw me in jail, and and because I've been studying Paul Boyne's case out of Connecticut, and I see what's going on with him, you know, and so I'm careful what you know the things that I put out.
Mm-hmm.
But but there is a way, you know, and the
Mm-hmm.
only way I think is the people, we the people on the private side, you know,
Mm-hmm. I
so
agree. And we talk about this all the time here, man. It's all the time. Like if we the people don't stand up for our the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of this stuff, it's just gonna go away. They're slowly removing this from us. And if people don't realize this and act on this sooner than later, it's not very far from being out of reach for us to it's not very far for it being so out of reach that we'll never be able to get it back. Like people don't
yeah,
realize how much how where we're at right now in our society in our world, that the Constitution is literally teetering um from being a document forever or going away from us. And that's what they're slowly doing, is they're slowly taking away each right by right by right. And like Gunnar will say, they're even taking away cursive writing so that the people can't even understand what they're writing in these days. It's like it would be like writing it in Greek or like some other language. Like they don't understand it. So they take away cursive writing so people can't read these documents. Like they are slowly taking away our rights and who we are as free people, which we're not anymore. And if we don't fight back as we the people, this is going to continue until they have complete and utter control of us, which they already do, but more so even so on paper.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think the
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, the root of all of this, man, is what the treasury looks like in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can sell great narrative to destroy someone's character, there's always a buyer.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And
there is.
so there's a lot, man.
Oh yeah, this isn't just like this one episode thing to bring on with that, but like with your daughter, she came home. Let's go there for a second. And I know that we got to wrap this up here in a minute. But she's still home, right?
Yeah, she's still home. Yesterday, that was the last court hearing. I spoke with the attorney this morning, and I just had to let her straight up. I said, I had to let her know. Listen, what I witnessed yesterday, this is totally not a judicial system. You guys are acting administrative, and what I saw, the people are going to see what's going on within. But as of now, we're withdrawing from any contact whatsoever, meaning because they're in a battle, and I think for what it looks like, I know that I'm not sure if they're gonna emancipate her or what's going on. But I
Mm-hmm.
had to make it clear we're under no contract.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing here. So I had to give her heads up because I guess she wanted to make the very last visit with the DCF supervisor, DCF worker with the guardian ad litem,
Mm-hmm.
just to see Anaya one more time with the birth certificate and social security at hand. Look at that. How they
Wow.
without my authority, you know,
Mm-hmm.
without my permission.
Wow.
So, but I'm glad to have, so
That's
well,
crazy. That doesn't tell you anything right there.
yeah, 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 yeah. And
Right.
so, but here's the thing: my other two are still in danger because
Mm-hmm.
here's the other thing. They learned the truth of what's going on with the case, the communication with the siblings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So our youngest, she knows and she is aware, but because she was the first one to be adopted, and by the way, this was the fastest adoption I've ever witnessed ever. One of the speedest, I mean, most fastest exchange that I've ever saw without me having any knowledge of it, and this was all happened behind when I was in bars, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then they changed the name. They kept the first name. They changed the middle name and last name. But
Hmm.
she's also, and so as my son, were they made their statements, the same statements as my mother. I mean, as my oldest daughter, where they want to run away too and be home. And so,
Mm-hmm.
my biggest fear is, what's next? How do I protect them if I'm totally silent? I mean, I know the things that I'm capable of, but is violence the right way to go? Heck no. So I'm glad that
No, right.
I avoided
Right, but
violence.
what is you're absolutely right. What is the next, like, we can flex our power of voting. We can flex our power of right to assemble, but none of it's getting you the remedy that you want. You want your goddamn kids home now because
Yes,
you can't
yes,
make up time.
yes, no. No.
They kidnapped our kids. They stole our kids. Why is, but if we go do it, we go to jail.
And by the way, just a reminder, based on the case, I'm holding on to a 4.8 million in arbitration award. Okay, I can show it to you, share it with you. This is suing Governor Ned Lamont, Commissioner. I mean, oh geez, there's a whole list. But anyway, Yeah, so I'm holding on to that arbitration award. I did everything that I can, try and collect that award. I exceeded all remedies to try and collect that award. And this is pertaining to that December 27, that criminal case, the judge against me and the DCF
Mm-hmm.
worker. And so, but, so the last thing I had to do, I had to, report it to the IRS and notify them what's going on. So there's a lot. So I got a lot that's on the table right now. I got a lot
Mm-hmm.
of agencies that's working right now, investigating and checking in. Why it took so long,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But this is something that shouldn't happen to no family. Even if you have one mother in full compliance, you have one father that's not in compliance but acting as an administrative role, and there's no justice on either side. This is huge, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut has a big problem with fraud and corruption.
I think it's the whole country does. It's not just
Well,
Connecticut. You mean, you know this by the number of kids that are taken every year. 500,000 families are affected by this every year. I mean, look at the sheer number and the volume and the money that is there. 500,000. Think about
yeah,
that. 500,000 families affected a year.
all because of the ignorance of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Just no one understands it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
And
What's something else? Hey, Fernando, we got to wrap this thing up here. But what's one last thing? If you got one, we're gonna have you back for sure because your story needs to be told, and there's a lot more to it. I
there
know
is
that.
a lot more.
Yeah, this is just the tip of an iceberg here. So I definitely want to get
Yeah,
you back here, and I definitely want to get you on here when Tiff is here, for sure, because she's gonna love this stuff, and Danielle too. We all have a lot to say about this topic. So what's the last thing you got to say, my man? What do you think? What's the last thing you got to say to everybody?
hold on tight. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Don't
Hmm.
lose faith. The Most High is watching, and He is in full power and full control. And
That's right.
we starting to see things move. You know,
Hmm.
I suffer with depression. And I know that there are many other who does. Reach out to people. You need to
Hmm.
talk to someone. You know, stay away from drugs and other things that's gonna distract you and lead you off track. Stay on track because the kids need you.
That's
Don't
right.
abandon them. Don't let
Oh
the
yeah.
system murder these children. Don't let the system rape these children. Don't let the system, just murder these children. And because by the time you'll get them, they'll be totally destroyed.
Hmm.
And the cycles, the prison system, the military industrial complex continues. We need to stop
Hmm.
this. We need to stop this now. We can only do this together as one. We the people, we hold the power, not them. Thank you. Thank you very
Hmm.
much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Fernando. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for coming in. The Rising Rare Gym. Give you 2 seconds. Here we go. Hold on right there, Fernando. If someone wants to validate their comment here, hold on. I'll give you 2 seconds, Rising Rare Gym. Hold on a minute here. Let me give you a link here real quick to the show. I know we got to hurry up and wrap this up because I think that Brenda might be coming on tonight. It is Thursday. But here you go. Rising Rare Gym. Please hop on here. Right. That's $1 trillion. You got that right, Classic Mommy. Absolutely. And then some. And then some. Come on, Rising Rare Gym. Let me see here. Just hold on 1 second, Fernando. No, thank you for bringing this on. This is a topic that a lot of people talk about, Fernando, and I'm glad that you put it into a real world situation because everybody thinks about this as a myth or thinks about it as this, that, or the other. I'm even skeptic of it sometimes because you can't actually touch it or feel it. You know what I mean? But there are people that are figuring out ways to make this thing work. Um,
That's right. And these are stuff that shouldn't be kept from each other. These are stuff that should
Mm-hmm.
be shared with one another, so that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what type of situation they're in, civil, criminal, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that they're not going to jump on with us there, Fernando. So back to where we were. All right, Fernando. Thank you very much, my man. We appreciate you, and we will see you again very soon. Very soon, I'm sure of it.
My
So
pleasure.
have a good night, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with Tiff and the Punisher in the random time slot. Tomorrow is Friday, so we'll see you guys then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fernando.
Well, the children are all so far away. Hey, P.S. swoop T, I rough and took them today with tears welled up in
Hi,
their
everyone.
eyes. No parents by their side. APF's wins again today. Don't think it's the truth. Gone away is their youth.
Hi, guys.
And the
All right, there you go. How are we?
parents prove it.
Hello. Hey,
Don't
Darren.
you
Hey,
think
you all.
for a minute you are weak
Are you guys
because
there?
they're
Hi,
gone.
everyone.
There wasn't any
If my
warning for you to
comment was confusing, buddy,
A caseworker has no
Are
Yeah,
you-
go ahead, Margaret.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. My comments that you didn't get really fast. You did the same thing to me. And like I said, they did it before the adoption was made. And like I said, that I rewrote. Hello?
You're here, Margaret. You're good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Margaret. Finish up. Well, Margaret, finish up, dear.
In Utah.
That's right.
Like in Utah. I'm here in Utah.
Yep. Perfect, Margaret. Well, thank you so much, Margaret. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Margaret. We appreciate you.
We rise to the faith when it's time. You never stand by yourself. Take God off the shelf and then draw the power you need to beat it, beat it. Draw the power you need to beat it, beat When Tiff and the Punisher are hosting their show, rally around them, let's get up and go. They give us the strength to fight for our rights. Tiff and the Punisher are here to give you strength. We want you to get in the fight. Your kids will never say goodnight without you in their side. As long as Tiff and the Punisher have something to say, don't give up. We are all here for your strength. Your Lord high in the sky. Tiff and the Punisher by your side. And your kids wait patiently for you to arrive. Don't give up.
And don't forget this Saturday, guys, bring the family back together webinar, question and answer like we've never done it before. The whole gang will be there, so make sure that you guys join us for that. Sign up online. Make sure you like, share, do all that other good stuff. And we'll catch you all tomorrow. Have a good night.